start, everybody. Good morning and welcome to the Coalition to End Sheriff Violence at LA Jails first press conference. My name is Patrice Cullors and I am the lead organizer of the coalition. Our coalition is made up of deputy on inmate abuse survivors, their friends and families, community organizations, faith-based groups, community members, educators, academics, healthcare professionals, and lawyers. We are fighting for the power and dignity of incarcerated people and their families, and we are asking everybody to join this movement and stand against the violation of civil and human rights of incarcerated people inside LA County jails. We have a line of 3 more speakers today. Sandy Neal, who's a parent of a deputy on inmate abuse survivor, Peter Eliasberg of the ACLU, and Cherise Foley, who's also a parent of a deputy on inmate abuse survivor. I grew up in Los Angeles County in a working class barrio in Van Nuys. My story is like many other working class families. My mother worked and made sure to take care of us to the best of her ability. But our life turned upside down when my brother, at 20 years old, was viciously attacked by the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. After my brother was brutalized, I lost complete faith in the idea that jails were about rehabilitating a group of people. My mother will tell my brother's story later on in this press conference. The legacy of violence against Black people, brown people, and people with disabilities, specifically the mentally ill, is unfortunately a huge part of this country's story. People who are incarcerated are often seen as a class of people undeserving of their rights. The Coalition to End Sheriff Violence in LA Jails is saying that those inside the walls of Twin Towers, Men's Central Jail, Pitchess Detention Center, and all the other county jails, those people are our sons, brothers, husbands, partners, loved ones, community, and family members. Their stories are our stories, and we want to hold the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department accountable for the abuse they have caused every single one of us. The community is calling for a dramatic shift in the ways that the county jails is being ran, and we want answers on what reparations will be given for all the damages that have been caused for our families. Today, we will hear from the LA County Board appointed Citizen Commission on Jail Violence. I want to speak briefly about the last meetings I've sat in on here at the Citizens Commission on Jail Violence. When Sheriff Baca and Under Sheriff Tanaka were being cross-examined by General Counsel, I was really disturbed to hear how they both answered questions that were being asked of them. Sheriff Baca often would tell the commission to let him do his job, or his subordinates are doing fine and leave the discipline up to him. Tanaka often answered questions either by saying he didn't know or he didn't remember. The ALADS president said to the effect that, well, who can really believe inmates, because inmates often aren't telling the truth. We can see the negligence, disdain, and outright lack of care each of these individuals have towards those who are incarcerated. Yet these are the people we are supposed to entrust to our loved ones to. As someone who has gone through such a traumatic event by the hands of sheriffs, I would have expected a much more accountable response from each and every leader from LASD. Today's meeting, the Commission staff will be highlighting their investigative findings regarding culture, personnel, discipline, use of force, management, and oversight in the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. We think that this is a moment in history where the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department and the LA County Board can really right some terrible wrongs, and the Commission can make some very strong recommendations that will lead to reform and restructuring that can have long-lasting effects in our communities. The Coalition to End Sheriff Violence in the LA jails is demanding 1. A civilian review board. The current Office of Independent Review has done little to produce real change in LASD. Put the power in the hands of a civilian review board that is able to influence and implement policies and practices based on transformative justice. We want to take the jails away from Baca. 2. No new construction of Men's Central Jail. Tearing down Men's Central Jail and spending billions of dollars to rebuild it will not stop the violence that LASD deputies have initiated since its opening. We believe there needs to be a dramatic reduction of incarceration inside LA County jails. Use those dollars towards social services and community-based organizations. 3, we want a complete restructuring of the jail system. A systematic transformation of the system includes, but not limited to, the disbanding of deputy gangs, hold deputies accountable by creating transparency and disciplinary measures, and greater non-punitive educational, mental health, and skill-building programs for incarcerated people. We want respect and dignity for all incarcerated people. Uphold the UN Declaration of Basic Principles on the Treatment of Prisoners and the U.S. Constitution's 8th Amendment, which protects incarcerated people from cruel and unusual punishment. Thank you, and our next speaker will be Sandy Neal.